MotoMouths, the podcast for MotoGP, motorsports, and more. I'm your host, Zoe, and Forza Ferrari.
I'm your other host, also named Zoe, and I never thought you would say that, actually.
I'm saying it ironically.
Oh, okay. So it's like a bit.
It's a bit.
And I love a bit. You know, I'll never let a bit die.
She Forza on my Ferrari till I'm disqualified.
Oh, and you know what? Yeah.
We will get into the China of it all in a minute, but we're in the throes of getting ready for COTA.
We sure are. You would not believe the amount of packing I have already done because I'm so just like amped.
Hang on. Is this the first podcast where we aren't going to talk about Jorge Martin for 2 minutes at the top of the pod?
You know what? I felt like there's not really much to say about
There's not
him.
much to say. He's not going to be at COTA. What's the next race after COTA?
He did say, so we are, I guess, going to talk about Jorge Martin.
It's a tradition.
We have to. He has confirmed that he is working as hard as he can to come back for Qatar, which is the round after. We haven't gotten any update as of yet on the kind of custom solo practice session. So no update on that yet. But he did kind of couch it all in the sense of, you know, like wanting to be healthy, wanting to come back healthy, which I think, again, only a good thing. But yeah, that's it. That's the update.
That's it.
And that's all you get.
Well, let's see what he can make happen.
Do you think he should go back into the healing pod?
I think he should go back into the incubator. But my thing is that, like, Qatar is not, like, an easy track to come back to.
No. I guess we'll find out.
I guess we'll find out. But getting into the Texas, the yeehaw, the cowboyism of it all, MotoGP will be back this weekend. They will be back
Thank God.
in Austin, Texas, in the Circuit of the Americas. I think one of the finest tracks on any motorsport calendar. They really did an incredible job creating that track.
Yeah, it's fun because I feel like we're definitely biased as Americans and like as residents of the American South, of which Texas is a member.
Yes.
It is really interesting too because if Vegas was in front of me, shoot 'em stone dead, I don't know that person. Miami, same feeling. But I totally agree to your point. Like, COTA is a racetrack that was developed by racing enthusiasts for great racing. It's awesome.
There's a lot of fun with the run-up. The turns are great. It's beautiful. It's just like a beautiful layout. Great track. No complaints there. I did see on MotoGP's Instagram, I think that they posted the last 10 winners of COTA, and it was like somebody. Marc Marquez all the way down.
Yeah, it was that.
I was like, oh, I have a funny feeling about what's going to happen this weekend.
Mark is the king of COTA.
Going to the Wikipedia page, Marc Marquez has 7 wins at COTA, all of them consecutive from 2013 to 2018, and then again in 2021. Do we want to get into the predictions of it all?
Yes, please.
Would you like to go first?
Yes, I will predict that Marc Marquez is going to win.
What a great prediction. Nobody saw that coming.
I know. I feel like it is a really out of left field prediction, but I feel like it's a good one. Something in the universe is telling me to go that direction.
Smart.
So I want to say Alex P2 because if it rains and traction will be an issue, like Mark and Alex will be towards the front, especially taking into account their showing so far. But Alex doesn't particularly love this track, so I'm a little hesitant. But now that I've said it all out loud, I'm just going to commit.
Commit to it, baby.
To an Alex P2. And then I think I'm going to go with Brad Binder for P3.
My king, Brad Binder?
Your king, Brad Binder, who is also one of the like preeminent experts on low grip, dirty tracks. And I think, especially in the rain, like he is one of the big rain guys, he and Jack Miller.
My other king.
So I think that's where I'm going. For Fail King, I think I'm just going to go with Pecco. I think the pressure is going to really start getting to him, especially knowing that this is a 3-race train for Mark to just excel and be incredible. And the pressure of knowing he's got to sit through these 3 races where Mark can just like pile points on him before he can even think about getting into Qatar, where is more of a Pecco track. I think he's going to crumble like a little bit. That's my guess.
I think that's a good guess. I'm going to go with Marco Bezzecchi as Fail King. I'm hoping to reverse jinx.
I support that.
Although seemingly your reverse jinxes work and I'm just correct.
This is another test, though. We'll figure that out.
We're gathering evidence. We're collecting data.
Yes, we are testing a hypothesis.
In P3, I'm going to go for Jack Miller because he's good in kind of low grip, wet race. And, he was up there in Burram. So let's see what he can do. P2, I'm going to do Frankie Morbidelli, P2.
Great choice.
I think that he's going to keep the ball rolling from last week.
Momentum is so important.
It is so important. And I just think that if, like last week, Bez is going to fail, then maybe Frankie will do well because that's what happened last week. And then for P1, again, there's just like this voice in my head telling me to go with Marc Marquez. So I think I'm going to go with Marc Marquez.
Crazy.
Crazy.
Crazy how that works.
So let's see how that all kind of pans out. You will be there. I'm so excited for you. Is this your first in-person MotoGP race?
It is. I thought about going to COTA last year, but it just didn't come together in time. And then Mark, like an idiot, crashed out of P1. Then he signs for the Ducati seat. And I said, I'm going. Like, how could I not?
Purchase that ticket.
Exactly. But yes, this will be my first MotoGP event. I last year was really lucky to go to Zandvoort for F1.
Who did you meet at Zandvoort?
It was less of a meet and it was more of a hangout with my close personal friend, Lewis Hamilton.
Still can't get over that. You talked to him for an hour, right?
Yeah. I mean, like not quite one-on-one, but like we did hang out.
That's so bananas. Anyways, brag about it.
I will actually. You know how he just posted this whole thing about his like Ferris Bueller
Yeah, that was so
merch
weird.
situation? He told me and my friend about that. Yeah.
Wait, I remember you saying this now.
Yeah, for everyone who's not Zoe and like doesn't already know some of this story. I got a friend of mine at work into Formula One like 2 or 3 years ago, and she eventually got her parents into it, and like she's a big Ferrari girl, so like she's really struggling this weekend. Long story short, she ended up winning a Marriott Bonvoy F1 experience, which those things do happen. They go to regular people. And so we got to meet Lewis. And this is also the weekend after he had this summer break and he'd won Silverstone before that. And we got to like go into the paddock late on Thursday to like meet him and hang out with him. And my friend and I were telling him, we're from Chicago. And it was very interesting because everybody he spoke to, that was the first thing he asked, like, where are you from? Which is, if you're so well-traveled, which like you are just by nature of being an F1 driver and also rich.
And Lewis Hamilton.
It's like very cool to see that that's the thing he falls back on to like just make conversation with people because he has been most places. Just like chit-chatting. And then he had one of the worst weekends of the year. So I'm just really excited for the whole weekend.
I said it last week, but I'll say it again this week. You got to do some on-the-ground guerrilla reporting for us.
If you think I will not have my iPhone locked and loaded all of the time.
I'm so excited. Shall we transition to the great wide world of motorsport?
We should. We have to talk about China. Before we get into any of the racing, I do want to say Zhou Guanyu's photo shoot that dropped.
Hello,
Incredible.
America's Next Top Model. Good Lord.
Someone call Tyra right now.
She's already on the phone.
Incredible. Beautiful, stunning, show-stopping, never been done. It is one of the best photo shoots I think I've ever seen, let alone the best photo shoot I've ever seen from a motorsport athlete.
He is arresting in it.
And it's so cool. Like, it's just cool.
It's a very cool photo shoot. Very cool. Shall we get into our predictions from last week?
Please.
I knocked this out the fucking park, dude. I killed this.
I'm so proud.
My predictions were Oscar P1, Lando P2. Didn't get P3. That was George. I said Max. And then my fail king, who failed legitimately the worst anyone's ever done it.
No, like actually, record-breaking.
Record-breaking, the worst anyone's ever done it. Then you said Lando P1, Oscar P2, Max P3?
I think I said that, yeah.
I think we both said Max P3. And then your fail king, which you hoped resulted in a reverse curse, worked because you said Ollie Behrman, and then he had a fucking incredible race. Ciao.
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 Yeah, he and Esteban both got points, which was so exciting, and also very exciting for the first female engineer to ever get points in F1.
Laura Mueller.
Yeah.
Queen.
So that was fun. I think, you know what? So much happened, but in so many ways, nothing happened.
So true.
Right?
Oscar did get his first pole, the first time that an Australian has been on pole since our GOAT, Daniel Ricciardo, in Mexico 2018, I want to say. So it's been a good long while since an Aussie's been on pole. Some other fun statistics from this weekend.
Hit me.
Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc were the first Ferrari teammates to ever get disqualified in the same race. And they were also the first teammates to ever get disqualified in the same race before they were ever teammates.
COTA just like gives and gives and gives, doesn't it?
Keeps on giving. Truly the epic highs and lows of being Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah, I had in the notes for looking at the China recap is news alert, 7-time world champion Lewis Hamilton is still him.
Followed by Ferrari disaster class of highs and lows.
Correct. And that, I feel like, is the story of the weekend.
Truly. Watching him take sprint pole and then winning the sprint race, so exciting. It felt so, truly, he is inevitable.
I love watching people who know what the fuck they're doing and can back it up. And I think that is what people have been waiting for Lewis and a Ferrari.
Until Ferrari goes and ruins it all.
Well, you know what? Everyone needs something to struggle against.
Yeah, I agree.
I truly believe the Lewis storyline of 2025 is going to be Lewis v Ferrari. Like, there is no doubt in my mind.
I love that movie, Hamilton versus Ferrari.
And we've been watching that movie for the last 3 years with Charles, so it's like we're just getting like another addition to the cinematic universe.
The one thing that I didn't love about Lewis this weekend, he kind of rebuked this like quote unquote argument that he had with his new race engineer about like the whole K1 thing last weekend in Australia by saying, look at Max and GP, the abuse that guy's received over the last few years. And it's like,
GP, the guy who has a life-size photograph of he and Max winning a championship in his living room.
Like, they're married, bro.
Max and GP almost named animals after each other in their homes. When people talk about work wives, that's who they're talking about.
That's who they're talking about.
Max has gone on record multiple times saying that if he doesn't have GP,
he's not racing.
And GP has gone on record multiple times saying, who else would I work with after Max? Like, what relationship would I be dooming to failure after this one that has been so successful personally and professionally?
Truly. Like, they are, that Lewis, I can't disagree with you enough. I think everyone was kind of like, huh?
Yeah.
So beyond that, I think that the big stories of the weekend were clearly, just an absolute disaster. Very vindicating disaster from in my wildest dreams.
I never thought we would be able to hate watch like we have this weekend.
I thought it would be bad, but I didn't think it would be.
I thought it would be longer. Like, I thought it would be a marathon.
Truly.
I thought we were in it for the long haul.
I have never seen, it's like he's never gotten in a car before.
Putting aside second seat, whatever, for the moment, we will discuss. Putting that aside, what is really, really interesting, and that I think we're all really waking up to right now, is that Red Bull has developed a car starting back to Sebastian Vettel. You can trace the car that exists today back to Sebastian Vettel's feedback, to Mark Webber's feedback, Daniel Ricciardo, and early Max. Like, this predates Max. Whatever reason, this car has been developed by the team and by the drivers sharper and sharper and sharper.
Pointy.
And I think Alex Albon made a really, really cool point like last year on a podcast talking about it's like when you're playing a video game or you have a mouse and you turn up the sensitivity so high that it shoots all over the page. And then you just tense up because everything is magnified by 1,000,000. You're not in the flow state. You can't fucking drive the car. And clearly, whatever is going on in Max's everything, he can make that work. And we know for a fact, going backwards, Daniel's made that work and been successful. Sebastian Vettel has made that work and been successful to varying degrees. The issue therein is that car is not at all similar to the V-Carb. And that is what's so crazy about everything, all the decisions Red Bull is making. Second seat people aside, like taking the specifics out of it, they are famous and they have made a huge point in their legacy of their academy. Is that really maybe the reason why none of that has worked out in the last 8 years? Because for whatever reason, we're all operating under the assumption that the AlphaTauri, the V-Carb, whatever the fuck we're calling it, we've been operating under the assumption that it is a dialed back Red Bull. And so when you put someone in a V-Carb and they perform, obviously that is not a one-to-one of how they're performing in a Red Bull because they seem to be two totally different cars.
But it must be said that in Red Bull's defense, it has worked. And when it's worked incredibly well.
And that's definitely true, but it only works when you have people who use the same driving style. Yuki doesn't drive the same way as Daniel. Like, if we're looking back, that is kind of the big issue of like when they started bringing Daniel into the team, is that he and Yuki kind of didn't really drive the same way. And that resulted in a car that was performing for Yuki and Daniel in turns, but never at the same time.
And I really disagree with this narrative of like, oh, they're designing the car around Max. First of all, yes. Why wouldn't you be designing the car around your 4-time world champion? That is absurd to me. Why would you, even going back to Checo, why on earth would you design a car to Checo's preferences when it's Max's team? Like, let's all be real here. Let's put on our serious hats for a second. Second of all, you put Sebastian Vettel in that car, he will be able to extract a good race first time out. It is so fundamentally similar to the car that he left behind in 2014. I mean, it's always been a pointy, oversteery, high downforce car. That is literally what the Red Bull has been since 2010. And finally, we're seeing everybody wake the fuck up and say, hey, you know who could have probably done really well in a pointy, oversteery, high downforce car?
Maybe the guy that helped develop it.
Crazy. Crazy.
And like, I'm in 100% agreement with you about the Daniel Ricciardo of it all. But I also think this whole question of designing a car for one guy, that I don't think is the question people should be asking. And I know there's a lot of different factors that go into the two people you choose to put into a car. A lot of those factors totally outside of the team's control. But when you have an established, criminally successful world champion on your team who clearly clicks so well with this car and the way that it is built and the way that you have to extract the best out of it, why are you not building at least some of your talent pool in his image?
That's my question. Why are you not looking for people who are driving
who like the same shit he likes? Because that's how you build consistency. That's how you get a second driver who can get you to the WCC. You clearly have this guy, Max, is doing it all. He will make it happen. He will bring the car beyond where it should realistically be. What's so interesting about it is people are saying Red Bull needs to fix the car. Red Bull needs to make the car something someone else can drive. Yeah, I think right now that is maybe their only option. But they have backed themselves into a corner by building their talent pool to just people who have been successful that they can get their little greedy hands on. And I don't think they're thinking about, they've never thought about who makes sense in the car that they have.
Anyways, all of this to say,
it's validating in the worst way, I think, because
truly,
as Daniel Ricciardo fans, like we literally were saying this all last year. And I don't think any of the like DR fans that I know, none of us were like, oh, he's going to like get in that car and outperform Max, because Max is a once in what seems to be a multi-generation set talent. But logically, Daniel is the best person to have been put in that car at the beginning of 2025. As much as it is nice for us to be correct, like we both love to be right.
Mm-hmm.
It is incredibly disappointing to see everyone suddenly turn around and be like, oh yeah, that's actually probably right. When now Red Bull has completely ruined any chance of that ever happening.
Do you think if Red Bull wises the fuck up, which I feel as though they must be, and swallows their pride, do you think that if Daniel Ricciardo gets a call, he says yes?
No.
I don't think so either.
I think there's a very, very limited set of circumstances that would have to happen for that to occur. One, Helmut Marko needs to either leave or decide he's going to keep his mouth shut.
Or die.
That too. That's never happening. Christian Horner, I think, would need to leave. That's never happening because he has the Thai Red Bull shareholders. Like, they are all in on him. I honestly don't know where they're going to go from here. I genuinely do not know. I think they're just going to white knuckle it until 2027.
I mean, I almost don't want Yuki to be in that car.
I don't think Yuki wants to be in that car either.
No. And I do want, I really disagree with, now we're seeing these rumors, it's out by Japan. I really hope that's not the case because so far their main excuse with has been he's never driven at this track before. Oh, he's never driven at this track before, which he has in Shanghai. Actually, he has driven at this track in F3. I want him to go to a track where he has raced at frequently and continue to show that he can't do this.
He can't put a lap together.
He can't put a lap together. I really want that to be the final nail in the coffin. I had an appointment with my psychiatrist last week. We spent a good 20 minutes of the appointment shit talking.
Mental health matters.
Mental health matters. We have never talked about him before. She knows I'm a Danny Rick fan. She's a Danny Rick fan. We also talked about how much we love Isaac Hadjar and all of the rookies. We talked about how much we love all the rookies. So she goes, I hate that. He is so smug. I hate his stupid face. He's such a jerk. He doesn't treat people well. And I was like, go off, Sally. Preach. He has not endeared himself to literally anyone. The one journalist that he has in his corner, Matt Koch, is saying, I'm hearing rumors that might be out by Japan.
It's rough out there. And you know what? None of my business. I think Yuki is their best shot to getting someone in that car who can maybe make something happen.
I think Yuki could make something happen. I don't think it's going to be great, but I think it'd be a lot better than what they're getting out of.
Right. But I also don't know, and this is what a lot of people are talking about, where if Yuki is in that car, is that going to ruin the rest of his career? If I were Yuki, I'd have a real tough time thinking about what might actually be best for me. Because if he gets the call up, he's not going to not take it. He will take it. It's a horrible situation. In all honesty, I really think that they're just holding out for Arvid Lindblad. Truly, I think in Helmut Marko's insane little brain,
senile, decrepit mind.
I think that's what he's thinking.
I can see it. I can see it. And then what else did we want to say about?
I did want to mention that Jack Doohan, secured 4 penalty points in 2 days over the weekend at China.
Yeah.
So what's that about?
Jack, I know you're listening. Stop it.
Pull it together. We're rooting for you.
Truly, we're rooting for you.
We're all rooting for you.
Apparently his dad's not. I don't know if you saw Mick Doohan's Instagram story today.
Mick Doohan's a huge Oscar Piastri fan, and real recognizes real. All I have to say about that.
Mick Doohan not only, he didn't share 1 post about Oscar Piastri winning. He didn't share 2. He didn't share 3. He shared 4 posts about Oscar Piastri winning.
So as many penalty points as Jack Doohan got, that's how many times his dad, world MotoGP champion, Mick Doohan, an Australian national treasure, posted about Oscar Piastri.
Your son's also racing.
Mick Doohan really giving boy mom energy for not his own child.
Truly, Oscar Piastri's son, Jack Doohan daughter. Truly.
Yeah. And you know that one meme of 3 people in a pool and one of them is holding up a baby and they're laughing and there's a kid drowning?
Yes.
That's Mick doing an Oscar and Jack's the one drowning.
Yes.
We love you.
I love you, Jack.
And also Mick.
And Mick, truly.
Call me sometime.
Truly. Anyways, World Rally Car.
Yes, let's talk World Rally Car. I'm so excited about this. Oh my God, I'm so excited. I'm getting hot.
It's literally hot.
It's like attractive. We've discussed the World Rally Car kind of, honestly, free speech situation that is happening. As an American, I stand for free speech.
Truly.
Here and abroad. Where are our troops? I think this is a cause they'd be interested in.
Where is Dick Cheney when you need him?
Literally. One time Dick Cheney could do something for me. So World Rally Car, the drivers all sent out a statement about the swearing ban, and the fine was exorbitantly expensive for athletes in the sport who often have other jobs. What they did this week is the entire weekend, they protested the quote unquote, free speech of it all by either not responding to any questions or responding in their native language, never in English. Or if they did respond in English, they said something that was complete nonsense or irrelevant.
Or very, very, very curt and short.
The guy who originally got this fine is a guy named Adrian Formel. I'm so sorry, Adrian, if I mispronounced that. He was fined originally 10,000 euros. And then I think there was an additional fine because he didn't pay it of 20,000. Adrian is my favorite comment of the weekend because when he was asked about it, the only thing he said was Hakuna Matata.
It means no worries for the rest of your days.
And I have to respect that level of what the fuck is up from a guy who kind of kicked it all off. Incredible. So they've said that they'll continue this behavior until they have a clear path forward after dedicated talks with the FIA, which are supposed to happen soon. This could go on for a while, and in all honesty, I think it should. It should go on for as long as they need it to, because that's the whole point.
Before we switch off the Great Wide World of Motorsport, speaking of all the second seat drama, I wanted to ask you to elaborate on your thoughts on who should be in the Red Bull second seat.
Okay. This came to me in the middle of the night. Truly, I feel like I saw it in a vision and it just clicked. It just made sense. So bear with me. Put Valentino Rossi into the second Red Bull seat. Here's my argument. 1. Valentino Rossi, a 9-time MotoGP world champion. He is wily, he is smart, he is experienced, he is cutthroat. All things that you need to succeed in F1, if not specifically the Red Bull team. We know, we've been talking about this, that what Red Bull has been doing hasn't been working, which is putting young, untried, untested drivers in that car. Max needs someone who has the experience to kind of be able to make shit happen. Valentino Rossi, he's had a couple of seasons of experience in WEC. He understands how a car works. He understands how, the whole ecosystem works. He's a quick study. He's a smart guy.
He's tested Formula One cars.
He has. Great point. That was my next point. He tested for Ferrari in the, I believe, Michael Schumacher era. He tested for them multiple times, I believe. Ferrari actually offered him a seat on one of their kind of support teams, which was Minardi.
Yeah, Minardi, maybe, or Sauber. Probably Minardi, I would say.
With the expectation that if he spent a season on that team and performed, he would get a call up to the red team. That was a serious offer that was on the table. Valentino did turn it down at the time, and then he went on to win more championships in MotoGP. But clearly, Ferrari saw something in him then. Here are my other points. 1, honestly, I think Max would really vibe with him. This has happened before. He loves other motorsports. He loves when people are successful at motorsports. He would get enrichment in his enclosure. I think he would have a blast. 2, everyone in Formula One who is under the age of 30 is a Valentino Rossi fan. Every single one of them. His mythos extends beyond motorcycle racing. None of them would race him hard enough to potentially kill him because he is their icon and he is their hero, and he would rack up enough points to support Red Bull and their WCC campaign. 3, I think he would take a bowling ball to the executive structure of Red Bull. Valentino Rossi is famous for his interpersonal beefs and battles, of which he has won every single one, with Marc Marquez still yet to be determined. So I think it would truly, he would probably kill Helmut Marko, and I would take that.
I just think the fact that he has an earring would kill Helmut Marko.
4, great point that you mentioned that. Valentino Rossi, noted cunty little guy, needs to bring nonsense and joy and camp back to F1.
Whimsy.
And even just Valentino has this thing on his leathers that is a WLF, and it's the tag at the top of the zip of his leathers. He has had that for years. It predates most people in the planet. The WLF stands for Viva la Figa, and he originally had VLF, but then the sport was like, hey man, you can't have something on your leathers that says long live pussy. So you need to change it up. So now it's WLF, and the man is ancient and still has long live pussy on his leathers. I think he needs to come back to Formula One.
Keep going, please.
5, putting him and Fernando Alonso on the same grid is oil and water and also C4. And I want to watch it happen.
It's truly, you want ratings to go up.
Get that man on there. And here's my point number 6, and this is my final point. We know that what looks like combined dark magic from Australians Mark Webber and Daniel Ricciardo has cursed the second seat for years. I'm scared of them. Valentino Rossi has never been scared a day in his life. If there is one single person on this planet that I think could get into the second seat of that Red Bull and survive the curse, it's him.
I think that his conflicting dark energy and magic would create a balance. You need light and the dark.
Bring balance to the world.
Bring balance to the force.
Exactly.
Also, notably, he ain't got shit on Australians. He'll go toe-to-toe with an Australian any day.
Exactly. He does not give a fuck. Get him back to Formula One, bring joy and whimsy back to the sport,
and
give MBS an aneurysm. I just think it would be so good. I really do. And then you're double bringing back all the Italians.
Truly.
If you have any Italian fans who are kind of love Ferrari, I'm getting a little bit sad. Guess what? Valentino Rossi is also on the grid.
And he could, be there for Kimi.
Exactly. Point 7. I could do this all day.
Truly, there's no fault to the argument. It is the correct and true argument.
Can he drive that car? I don't know. I don't give a fuck. See points 1 through 7.
You sold me.
I think it just makes sense.
I agree. It just makes sense. It just makes sense. Anyways, I think that brings us to the grid as ... which, for those uninitiated, is a point in the podcast where we categorize a handful of riders and drivers from across the great wide world of motorsport as a person, place, thing, concept, idea. And I don't know about you, but I've had some Chappell Roan songs stuck in my head. So I say let's go with Chappell Roan songs, baby. Let's categorize them as Chappell Roan songs.
I think that's a great idea.
Would you like to go first?
I would like to go first. I'm going to go with Marc Marquez because I love him. He's my first choice. And I think then I will go with Pecco Bagnaia. Those are my choices. Mark is my kink is karma.
Yes.
Exactly. Enough said.
I mean, let's move on. Truly.
What else is there to say?
Nothing.
And then I think Pecco is Good Luck Babe. Here's my thinking. Taking the specifics out of it, Good Luck Babe is all about saying, I fucking told you so. Good Luck Babe is saying, I knew this was going to happen. I knew this was going to happen to you. I knew you were going to do this. At least I'm out of it, right? Pecco is the narrator you're speaking to.
Couldn't agree more. Both correct on all accounts. I think for my 2, I'm going to go with the Haas boys. I think that's going to be a fun one. For Esteban Ocon, I'm going with Femininomenon.
Absolutely.
He and Laura Mueller are taking this to the next level, baby. They are getting it hot like a Femininomenon.
I love it.
And then for Ollie Behrman, stay with me here.
I'm ready.
I don't know if you saw, but on Ollie Behrman's helmet for this weekend, he had a celebratory sticker for World Bear Day.
I didn't see that. That is so cute.
So cute. But, Bears, tops, bottoms. I'm going with The Giver. It's a song about sexual dynamics. And also, I just think that he's the kind of kid that would like sing along to the song The Giver and not really like know what it's about because he just loves it so much.
I see that.
Thirdly, also, I think that he would like it because he recently graduated, I don't know, middle school where they read The Giver by Lois Lowry.
Yeah, 100%. This is me standing in solidarity with Ollie Bearman in your head. I can't look at that song and not think about that book.
Truly.
Sorry.
Truly nothing to do with the other, but there is no reason to call it The Giver. Anyways.
Great work, team.
Great work, team. I think that brings us to the end of the podcast. Next week, we will obviously go over the events of COTA, hear back from Zoe as she returns, see how her sunburn fares.
Badly, probably. Look at me. I'm alabaster.
Please wear your sunscreen and a hat. And then we will also make our predictions for Suzuka for F1.
I'm excited. I love that track.
Come hang out with us on TikTok, Instagram, and Threads. We are now on Threads. That's it for us. Let's keep chatting soon. Bye.
Bye.